This is an excerpt from the book, What is Innovationism? A Basic Introduction to the Center for Political Innovation. Let's start with degrowth and Malthusianism. Many of the ruling elite have come to the conclusion that the only way to stay at the top of the world is through destruction. The economic theories of Robert Thomas Malthus, who spoke of overpopulation, have long been popular with the ultra-rich. The big bankers and monopolies are openly talking about how they need to reduce the global population and dramatically degrow the world economy. The computer revolution is taking the problems of the capitalist economic system to new heights. Human labor is being replaced by artificial intelligence, and the new gig economy is completely changing what it means to be a working person. In Western countries, the ultra-rich are gathering at the World Economic Forum and discussing very sinister plans to keep themselves at the top of the world. They are discussing how you will own nothing and be happy about it, live in a pod, eat bugs, etc. They are dreaming up all kinds of schemes for grinding us all into poverty with economic controls, reducing the population, reducing consumption, and preparing for an all-out war against the new economy that is challenging the dominance of the Western system around the world. Meanwhile, there's a layer of wealthy people who disagree. Donald Trump in the United States, there are others as well. The AfD in Germany and the National Front in France are made up of business owners who just want to make money. They aren't interested in a scheme to save the system, and they want deregulation so they can increase their profits. This is the basis of the big divisions in Western politics and the rising political turmoil. A government of action. The reason the New World is rising while the West is failing is rooted in the problems of production organized for profit. Technological advancement should not lead to poverty. People should not become poorer because of abundance. Ultimately, what is needed in the United States is a government of action that will fight for working families, that will work for the working people. We need a state that represents the interests of the majority against the globalist imperialist monopolies. This state will stimulate economic growth, fund small businesses, and empower people to be strong, healthy, and creative. The Center for Political Innovation has a 4-point plan to rescue the U.S. economy. The first one, a mass mobilization to rebuild the country. Now is the time to hire the millions of unemployed at union wages. Put them to work rebuilding the roads, bridges, water treatment facilities, power plants, schools, and hospitals of the country. High-speed railways must connect the Midwest and South to more prosperous regions. The universities must be revamped so that once again we are churning out the world's greatest scientists and engineers. A brain trust of the smartest minds must be assembled in order to lay out a detailed 5-year economic plan. The public must be mobilized to carry it out with the full support of the country's resources. Number 2. Public ownership of natural resources. It has become clear that big corporations and banks are not trustworthy in their management of America's oil, natural gas, coal, timber, and other natural resources. As communities across the country fall into greater poverty, Wall Street monopolists enrich themselves from the natural wealth of American soil. Nationalization of these resources will end the budget deficit. The profits from America's wealth must go to the country overall, not into the pockets of a few bankers. Popular power will be far more capable of managing these resources to ensure a better future. 3. Public control of banking. Speculation, money created from money with no real added value, hangs as a curse over the U.S. economy. The Bible, the Torah, the Quran, and every major religion historically have forbidden the lending of money at interest because it creates an ultra-rich creditor class, bringing the problem of monopolistic stagnation, extreme centralization of wealth in the hands of a few. The lending of money should no longer be carried out for profit, but should be done by communities and the country overall at the local, state, and federal levels. In place of the financial sector, a national bank as well as many state and local banks should be created. Credit should be assigned in accordance with an overall economic plan, securing long-term growth and development. Interest should be paid back into the public budget, lifting the burden of taxation from working families. We need a debt jubilee to reboot our economy from the downward spiral hanging over it. The Federal Reserve rip-off scheme and all of the other mechanisms through which bankers and monopolists have found ways to siphon off the public budget need to be gotten rid of. We need an economy based on the real value created by human labor power and creativity, not the various schemes invented to generate worthless paper for those who are already rich. Number 4, an Economic Bill of Rights. In his final State of the Union address, President Franklin Roosevelt proposed an Economic Bill of Rights. The right to a job, housing, education, and health care must be added to the U.S. Constitution. No one in the country should be left hungry while so much wealth exists. No one should be homeless in a country with millions of empty houses and apartments. All who can work should be hired to do useful work building a better America. Education should be considered a necessity for maintaining an informed population and a healthy country. We must invest in our population as a great resource for making a stronger country.
In our day, certain economic truths have become accepted as self-evident. A second Bill of Rights, under which a new basis of security and prosperity can be established for all, regardless of station or race or creed. Among these are the right to a useful and remunerative job, the right to earn enough to provide adequate food and clothing and recreation, the right of every farmer to raise and sell his products at a return which will give him and his family a decent living, the right of every businessman, large and small, to trade in an atmosphere of freedom, freedom from unfair competition and domination by monopolies at home or abroad, the right of every family to a decent home, the right to adequate medical care and the opportunity to achieve and enjoy good health, the right to adequate protection from the economic fears of old age, sickness, accident, and unemployment, the right to a good education. All of these rights spell security, and after this war is won, we must be prepared to move forward in the implementation of these rights to new goals of human happiness and well-being. For unless there is security here at home, there cannot be lasting peace in the world.